Beamy Evan, 30, shift supervisor at regional warehouse for big home goods chain called Northline Home. Place is football field of concrete, metal racks 4 stories tall, forklifts whining, pallet jacks squeaking, radios crackling nonstop. Job is making sure orders leave on time, nobody gets crushed, and inventory system doesn't completely hallucinate. Crew mostly dudes who can deadlift sofas and drink energy drinks like water, plus handful of women in packing area. Old HR guy Mike lived in back office with dusty printer, appeared twice a year to mumble about W-2s. Rules simple, steel toes on feet, vests on torso, brain engaged before moving anything heavier than your regrets. State safety inspector liked our training logs. Injury board stayed mostly empty. Corporate treated us like boring miracle that just worked. One Tuesday email lands from HQ, subject line, welcoming our new director of workplace safety and equity, mandatory town hall. Whenever equity and safety share same sentence, odds go up that someone will invent new ways to trip over tape. Next day, we cram into break room that smells like coffee, cardboard dust, and microwave fish from someone we still haven't identified. GM stands there with woman early 30s, sharp bob, blazer over combat boots, expression like she already wrote us guilty. Lanyard pins scream, lift women up, men listen, and one tiny forklift with a slash through little stick figure man. She introduces herself as Sloan, pronouns, new director of workplace safety and equity, background in gendered ergonomics, and justice-oriented logistics. Slides appear on TV, photos of construction dudes whistling at women, warehouse cams catching guys staring, testimonials about feeling watched at work. Sloan says warehouses are one of the last male fiefdoms, full of unquestioned brute force culture that pushes women out. Tells story about her cousin quitting job because male coworkers kept saving her from heavy boxes instead of training her. Announces Project Even Load, program to redistribute physical and emotional labor so women can finally thrive in industrial spaces. Phase 1 called Eyes on Pallets, Not on Bodies. Phrase that sounds catchy until you realize she means it literally. New posters show eyeballs looking at boxes, big red X over cartoon guy, glancing at woman bending near shelf. Sloan says male staff must commit to non-lingering gaze, tells us to scan rows as units, not as curves. Few women nod, couple dudes snort quietly, I stand somewhere in. She has a point, but also please don't break procedures. First memo hits next morning, teal header. Title, Visual Conduct and Lane Reassignment Guidelines. Rule 1. Any area marked with purple tape is now comfort zone. Only women scheduled for primary picking duties there. Comfort zones include decor aisle, bedding, small furniture, basically half the high-demand stuff ordered by online shoppers daily. Male workers banned from stationing themselves inside purple zones unless invited for specific consult or mechanical support. We may not hover near female coworkers handling orders because that recreates old dynamic of men supervising women's bodies. Problem, we have exactly 5 women in warehouse, 2 part-time, 1 barely 5 feet tall, 1 prefers labeling to lifting. I raise hand in shift briefing, mention number of orders versus number of purple vests, math screaming from whiteboard. Sloan smiles, patient therapist smile, says, "Will aggressively recruit more women." Favorite phrase of every person who's never recruited anyone. Until then, she says, men can support from perimeter, meaning ferry pallets to edge of zones, then back away. first week we try it, comfort zones become choke points, pallets stacking like Tetris pieces no one can rotate. Women inside hustle hard, sweating, pulling smaller boxes off tall stacks because nobody wants them touching the big, dangerous ones. Guys stand at tape line like dogs watching squirrels through glass, hands itching whenever they see wobbly load or shaky ladder. Sloane roams floor with tablet, watching men's eyeballs more than racks, ready to write up gaze violations like their speeding tickets. Second memo arrives, titled, "No More Hero Lifts, Respect Women's Strength and Autonomy." In training huddle, she explains that rushing in to grab heavy box from woman's hands is old patriarchal reflex. Says if we see woman struggling with weight, we must offer collaborative assist, not override her competence. Guideline says we should ask, "How can I support your lift?" instead of "Let me take that," and accept no for answer. Also adds line, "Men should not physically intervene unless object is clearly about to fall on someone's head or throat." Translation: if someone's spine gets compressed slowly, that's empowerment. If crate actually airborne, maybe you can step forward. Few days later, I watch Lena, smallest picker we have, wrestling 50-inch TV box onto pallet alone in comfort zone. She grunts, edges it up corner first, box swaying, knees shaking a little, pride and stubbornness written in every movement. I hover at purple tape line, ask, "Need a hand or you got it?" Trying to sound neutral, not panicked. She says, "I got it. Sloane says we can handle same loads you guys do." Then nearly catches box with chin. My instincts scream. I step over tape anyway, grab side. Together, we set it down safer, breathing like we ran laps. Sloane appears from nowhere, clipboard which writes note about me, overriding expressed consent to handle load independently. Later calls me into office, says my hero complex undermines women's confidence and scares them from industrial roles. I want to yell that gravity does not read gender journals. Instead say, "Yes, I'll phrase offers differently," while biting tongue so hard. Phase 3 is where it starts messing directly with safety manual, not just vibes, which is where my stomach fully turns. Memo titled, "Emergency Protocol Reframing from Command to Collaboration." Already bad sign when your evacuation plan sounds like book club. She says words like emergency stop, crush hazard, and panic button are trauma triggering, wants more grounded language. Emergency horns volume lowered by 2 notches to reduce startle response in sensitive guests touring facility. Forklift drivers told to announce presence gently instead of using horn unless absolutely life-threatening, which horn was literally designed for. Drills now start with check-in round, 30 seconds each describing how your body feels hearing the alarm before moving to exits. One practice run takes almost 8 minutes to evacuate half building because everyone stuck near door saying, "I feel tight in my chest." Even some women roll eyes, later telling me quietly they'd rather not die in fire while naming emotions about siren pitch. Despite all this, day-to-day grinding continues, trucks arrive, orders leave. We adapt by silently ignoring half her guidelines when she's not looking. Corporate then announces huge deal, long-term contract with fancy furniture brand called Aurora Loft, known for bougie couches influencers drool over. Aurora will store inventory in our regional hub, use our team for fulfillment. Potential revenue numbers make GM's pupils turn into dollar signs. As part of onboarding, Their operations director and safety team plan to tour facility, watch how we handle big items, and rush orders. Curveball, Aurora's director is woman named Dana, ex-athlete, big Instagram following, talking about strong women building strong homes. Sloane sees her LinkedIn, practically levitates, mutters words, perfect ally, and culture case study, like she just summoned new goddess. Meeting after, she suggests special event during tour, something called Strong Her Demo, showcasing women leading every step of heavy item handling. Proposal says all visible staff during demo should be women, from scanner to strap checker to forklift spotter, to inspire Aurora's brand values. GM hesitates, mentions staffing again. Sloane assures she can coach couple more women up to speed before visit next month. 2 of those women pulled from call center and front office, never worked floor beyond walk-in through on holidays party tour. Sloane gives them crash course in harness use, pallet jack basics, proper lifting, enough that they pass 10-question quiz on tablet. Meanwhile, actual experienced guys scheduled as support crew, meaning they stay near dock doors and load trucks, not on main demo stage. We're told explicitly in email. During Aurora visit, please allow women to lead. Do not step in unless asked directly. Underlined twice, then little smiley, as if smiley face cancels potential concussion. Aurora Day arrives, warehouse spotless, aisles swept, new banners hanging. Even Load Safe World slogan printed everywhere in teal. We're in crisp uniforms, radios charged, forklifts washed like they're going on first date. GM pacing with clipboard-like nervous wedding planner. Dana shows up with 2 colleagues and 1 guy from their safety team, all in matching vests with Aurora logos, serious but friendly. Sloane walks them through front office, spouts about equity lanes and comfort zones. They nod politely, eyes wandering toward giant racks instead. Then she brings them to main floor, where Strong Her Demo about to start, lowers voice like unveiling museum exhibit. Scenario is simple on paper, show full process of receiving, staging, and loading oversized couch on outbound pallet row. Jess, one of our few real floor women, leads scanners. Annika from office assigned as secondary. Lena on pallet jack, another new recruit on strapping. I'm posted nearby at usual dock, technically not part of show, but close enough to see everything from side angle. Sloane positions Aurora team on raised spot near end of lane. Perfect sightline. Camera ready to capture. Women moving the world. First steps go fine. Couch arrives on inbound pallet. Girls scan. Banter light. Sloane glowing in background like proud director. Then small things start to stack wrong, like poorly packed box filled with ball bearings and bad karma. Lena pulls pallet jack under couch pallet and tugs, but wheels catch groove in cracked concrete, skew load slightly sideways. Pallet bumps another already parked stack of boxed coffee tables, which wobbles half an inch. Not fatal yet, but not good either. Jess notices, calls, easy, easy, but doesn't correct angle aggressively, conscious of not barking orders in front of a quality queen. Sloane beams, narrates to Aurora. See, women can coordinate adjustments without shouting or posturing, as if quieter physics exist. From my angle, I see top coffee table box hanging over edge of pallet, shrink wrap stretched at weird diagonal, edge kissing nothing. My gut tightens, same instinct that say nope when you see toddler near open stair, or strap twisted before buckle. I start walking that direction, not running, just quicker than stroll, planning to say, "Hold, let me repack that stack real quick." Sloane catches my movement, flicks sharp glare, shakes head tiny bit, like swatting fly without raising hand. Mouths back, then louder says, "We've got it, Evan. Let them run their process," while smiling huge for Dana. I hesitate on strip of neutral tape between comfort zone and mainstream aisle, brain stuck between manual and memo, both yelling opposite things. Annika steps in to help steady couch, brushes against pallet, already sketchy stack jiggles more, little top box creeping toward edge like suicidal turtle. I call out, "Hold pallet, guys, that stack's not happy," trying to keep tone friendly, not commanding, because my personnel file now allergic to shouting. Jess glances at box, says, "It's fine, we moved these earlier." Voice confident, but also tuned to not show doubt in front of visiting women. Dana nods like proud coach. Sloane continues speech about trusting women's assessment of risk, words that will age like milk left on dock. Moment stretches, pallet jack still angled wrong, Lena gives extra tug to clear crack, wheel pops out, pallet jolts, physics caches check. Top box finally decides to obey gravity, tips slowly first like it might reconsider, then fully commits to swan dive off stack. It's not huge crate, maybe 30 kilos, but high enough to ruin somebody's day if it chooses skull as landing pad. Trajectory lined perfectly with space, where Dana just stepped closer to get better look, hand gesturing toward straps, mouth mid-question. My body moves before brain finishes OSHA citation in head. I sprint last 3 steps, shove shoulder under dropping box, catch most of weight. Knees buckle, something in lower back flares hot, but at least cardboard and particle board hit me instead of Aurora's golden goose. Box bounces off, corner clips Dana's shoulder instead of head. She stumbles, foot hits plastic strap coil on floor we hadn't secured. She slips, not full sitcom banana peel, but enough to go sideways, crash onto concrete with nasty thud, brand new vest scraping. Warehouse goes pin drop silent, then noise returns all at once, gasps. "Oh my God!" Radio's crackling, safety guy swearing under breath. Dana groans, sits up with help, winces, fingers test shoulder and wrist, clearly in pain, but moving, thank every warehouse deity ever invented. Sloane rushes forward saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" 12 times, half glancing at me, half at still filming security camera. Safety team moves Dana to first aid room. Someone calls paramedics to be safe. Paperwork gods already licking their pens. Rest of tour canceled on the spot. Couches and empowerment speeches both left half-staged, like theater production that lost lead mid-monologue. After paramedics leave with Dana cradling arm and sling, GM calls internal debrief in upstairs conference room with glass walls overlooking floor. Scenery is us, sitting at table smelling like sweat and cardboard. Sloane, GM, safety manager, plus Aurora safety guy and later corporate on video. They replay incident on big TV, multiple angles on loop, showing pallet wobble, my move, box drop, slip, everything in high definition regret. Aurora safety guy asks first question, why box stack was so close to demo lane, why strap coil lay on floor unguarded. Maintenance explains we were told to keep male crew away from that zone during strong. Her portion, so normal staging pattern changed. Sloane tries to frame it as minor placement oversight during experimental configuration. Language so fluffy it could float out ceiling vents. Then safety guy asks, why did closest experienced supervisor hang back when pallet angle looked obviously off at 0:32 timestamp? Everyone turns to screen where I hesitate, glance at Sloan, step forward, then pause on line of tape like invisible wall. He rewinds that second 3 times, slow motion, my face clearly saying, "This is dumb," while legs obey email instead of instinct. Sloan jumps in, says, Evan always had authority to intervene in true danger. Claims I misinterpreted collaborative leadership cues. Aurora Guy frowns, rewinds to audio where she says, "We've got it, Evan. Let them run their process." Voice, breezy but ordering. State Safety Inspector, dialed into call later, asked why facilities altered normal operating procedures for heavy lift demo without proper risk assessment. GM sheepishly pulls up Project Even Load Deck, slides about comfort zones, no hero lifts, women-only demo, equal visibility, whole manifesto on screen. Inspector reads lines about men stepping back physically and trusting women to redefine safe loads, aloud until room wants to vanish. Legal counsel from HQ joins via video. Face-like person seeing car insurance jump in real time. Asks who signed off on these changes. Sloan says she did. Within scope, granted as Director of Safety and Equity. Mentions months of research and lived experience interviews. Counsel points out none of that equals engineering sign-off, manufacturing approval, or compliance with manual from Aurora Couch's supplier. Also mentions that by restricting intervention from trained male staff based on gender, we may have created discriminatory assignment patterns with measurable risk. My incident reports get dragged into spotlight next. Couple short emails I'd sent politely flagging choke points and near misses since comfort zones appeared. I watch on screen as my words, "Purple restricted areas are causing unsafe congestion and confusion about who can intervene," scroll by under highlight tool. Sloan had replied to each at time with phrases like early friction, learning curve, and fear narratives from previously dominant group. Inspector Tapspen says, "Those fear narratives look a lot like foresight now, not even smiling, because lawsuits aren't jokes." 2 days later, Aurora sends formal letter suspending contract signing until satisfaction of outstanding safety concerns and operational questions. GM looks like man who watched bonus evaporate into thin air scented like shea butter and expensive sofas. HQ executives, suddenly extremely interested in our little warehouse, schedule emergency governance review call with me, GM, Safety, and Sloan. On call, they ask me directly what it's been like under Project Even Load. Say, speak freely, no retaliation. Which everyone knows is myth, but I'm tired. So I talk, not dramatic, just list, choke points, undertrained crosshires, times we obeyed vibes instead of manuals, boxes that almost fell, but didn't. Mention Lena's near-face crush with TV, drills slowed by feelings round, horns turned down, forklifts creeping silently near blind aisle corners. Say I understand wanting women to feel safe and respected, but pallets don't respect politics, only physics and weight distribution. Line goes quiet, long time, then one exec says, "That's the clearest summary of this mess I've heard all week." Day after, memo hits inbox, subject, "Immediate pause of Project Even Load, policy review in progress." Comfort zones tape peeled up by maintenance before lunch, purple vests tossed into bin labeled MISC fabrics, which feels accidentally poetic. Horn volume knob turned back up, drills revert to Alarm means move, not alarm means share. Everyone exiting faster and breathing harder. Week later, second memo. Leadership update, shorter, drier, thanking Sloan for her passion, noting she'll be pursuing opportunities aligned with her vision elsewhere. No going away pizza, no speech, just glimpse of her walking across parking lot, carrying plant in one arm, poster tube in other. Few months after that, Aurora quietly signs trimmed-down contract with us. Smaller volume, more oversight. One line about non-negotiable adherence to manufacturer guidelines. Warehouse shifts settle into old rhythm with slight improvements. More women hired as pickers because pay decent, training thorough, expectations clear. Now help is whoever's closest and strongest. Period. No tape lines marking where chromosomes allow competence to stand. Sometimes I still catch myself apologizing before grabbing heavy end of couch when someone smaller struggles. Then remember, I'm allowed to just help. One night after late shift, feet aching, scrolling phone, eating cold leftovers, see familiar face on LinkedIn screenshot in some article. Headline reads, I was pushed out for making warehouses safer for women. The cost of saying no to male heroics. Photo of Sloan smiling with mug that says, smash the load gap. Article excerpt about toxic male pushback and resistance. No mention of missed contract, almost hurt client, warning emails, or box corner an inch from VIP's skull. I close browser, open anonymous image board tab out of habit, read thread about stupid corporate safety theater, fingers hovering over reply box. Type, be me, warehouse guy who watched HR tape lines on floor and almost tape us into a lawsuit. Add second line. Turns out gravity doesn't care how empowered your PowerPoint sounds. Sit back, hit post, and hope someone like her boss is lurking.